Hey y'all, it's Krystal. Welcome back to my Texas garden. So this morning I came out to do something totally different in the garden, and I found a couple of issues, and I thought I better address those today. And as you can see, we're going to do a little harvest this morning. Now if you're new around here, welcome. And if you're all about gardening naturally, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to smash the bell icon so you're notified every time I post a new video. So I mentioned I came out here earlier today to do something totally different. Actually, what I intended on doing is getting some squash seedlings planted into the ground. It's time to get them planted. When I noticed that my zucchini rampicante is having some issues. Now, a few days back, we had a storm blow through about 2:30 in the morning. It actually woke me up. We had something like 30-mile-an-hour winds with some rain and possible hail. I don't think we had any hail here, but that's what the weather was saying, that there was hail with this storm. So when I came out here the next morning to inspect for damage, the only damage that I actually did find was this trellis back behind me had fallen, probably because of the weight of the fruit. So that evening when the kids got home from work, from school, football practice technically at that time, the kids and I stood the trellis back up, and I didn't see any issues at that time. Nothing looked broke or anything like that. The next day, I started noticing that this plant was actually looking pretty bad. And I don't know if it was from the storm or if it's just because the plant has been here for a long time. It's been here for 5 months. It's given me lots and lots of fruit. So it could be the fact that it's towards the end of its life cycle, which the storm probably didn't help. Then I noticed I've got some issues with bugs. Now, before the storm, I didn't notice anything, but it doesn't take a long time for bugs to move in and take out a plant. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go ahead and harvest whatever fruit is left on these vines, and then I'm going to pull the vines out and burn them. Normally, I chop and drop unless there is an issue with disease or pest, and I don't want to give these vine borers a chance. So we're going to get rid of them right now. Okay, so also about 3 days ago, I noticed that this long bean plant right here, which, by the way, was my top producer, it put out a bunch of blooms and a bunch of fruit, bam, right out the gate. I noticed that it was looking kind of weak. I inspected all down at the ground to see if maybe Duke had come through and broke something on the bottom. I'm not seeing any damage from the ground. What I did find is I found an infestation of aphids. So as you can see now, the plant is gone, but you'll also notice that the plants to the left and the right of this plant are untouched. They are perfectly fine, healthy, and green. So honestly, I'm not too sure what happened to this plant to cause it to get sick in the first place. A good healthy plant actually can put up a self-defense kind of shield against pests. Basically, they can make themselves taste bad. When a bug comes and takes a bite out of them, the bug goes, "Ooh, I don't like that," and they move on. Which is why I don't really stress out when I see bug damage on any of my leaves. Now, when a plant gets sick, has some sort of damage, their shields come down. And when the shields come down, bugs are actually then able to go in and attack that plant and devour the plant. So the key here is to keep your plants healthy from the root down, which is why it's important to have a good, healthy soil ecosystem. Okay, as you can see, we've taken this plant completely out. Now, normally I just chop and drop, but since I don't know what killed the plant, I'm gonna go ahead and get it out of here rather than letting it break down on the ground, just in case it was diseased of some sort. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm also gonna come in this evening. You won't see me do it, but I'm gonna come in and give each plant about a teaspoon apiece of fish bone meal, just to give them a little boost. This part makes me so sad. Taking plants out, it makes me sad. But the fact that they gave me lots of fruits makes me happy. So out with the old, in with the new. Okay, so I am back and I just finished up this row. So you saw me take out the vines that were here, and I have all the vines in a wheelbarrow. I'm gonna spin you guys around right over there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those to the burn pit. As I was looking at the vines, there was a lot of vine board damage done, and I don't want to just chop and drop those into the garden. I want to burn those little vine borers. Now, these plants have been here since March, and I have not had an issue until recently with the vine borers. Probably because the plants were nearing the end of their life cycle, so their defenses were down. And we talked about that earlier, how plants can put a defense shield up. So probably they were coming to the end of their life cycle. Their defenses were down, and the vine borers and aphids were able to come in and attack. And the storm that blew through a few days back, it just, everything kind of dealt these plants their final blow. So took them out. I'm going to go burn these vines so that we don't have future vine borer issues. Also, what I did was I went ahead and added more hay. That's the motto around here. We add more hay. There was virtually nothing left over here, so we added more hay. And I also added more hay on top of the rows. Now, squash and melons, they are all heavy feeders. So I need to plant something back here that's going to help feed the soil. So my choice is I can either go in right now and plant more long beans. I could definitely do that. I actually have people that buy the long beans from me. I can them as well, so having more long beans right now would be really good. Or I can just let this hay sit and settle, kill all the grass underneath, and then in a few weeks, come in and plant my winter peas. Here in Southeast Texas, we grow sugar snap peas and sweet peas in our fall winter gardens. So that's my two choices. I can't tell you right now which way I'm going to go. I really have to think about it. And and then I have to make a decision. So I'll let you guys know what I plan to do. If I'm going to plant more long beans, it's going to happen pretty quickly. So I don't know yet. I'll let you guys know. Now, I did go in and also harvest some loofah. I harvested young loofah and I harvested mature loofah. So these are both young baby loofahs. They're very, very soft. The skin is still tender. You can kind of make an indentation with your fingernail. Even this big one is still really, really soft. So both of these are going to be peeled, blanched, and frozen. I have never canned or dehydrated loofah. And so I'm not going to experiment with them this year. I'm going to go ahead and just stick them in the freezer. Maybe I'll do a little bit of experimenting next year. I have come to really love eating loofahs, so they will definitely have a bigger role in my garden next year. Tomorrow, I've got a pretty big kukutsi squash harvest that needs to happen. And again, I've never canned or dehydrated that variety of squash, and actually technically it's a gourd. So what I'm going to do is just blanch it and freeze it, and I think that's the plan for those for now. If you'd like to see more great gardening videos, go ahead, click right here, and I'll meet y'all over there.